Diddy's celebrity friends are reportedly settling with victims behind closed doors to avoid being named in upcoming lawsuits, according to attorney Tony Busby. Busby, who represents over 100 accusers, claims several high-profile figures helped cover up at Diddy's infamous parties. While some celebrities have already settled, Busby is preparing to take legal action against more individuals. Diddy, who remains in jail after being charged with denies all allegations and awaits trial. The case continues to unravel, with more shocking details emerging about the abuse accusations.
Major celebrities allegedly involved with Sean Diddy Combs' sex crimes are said to have quietly reached settlements already. Attorney Tony Busby says that he plans to sue several A-listers who allegedly helped Diddy cover up his sexual abuse, but he claimed some of the stars have already paid up in an attempt to keep their identities private. He told TMZ, quote, "If you were attending one of these parties and you were there in the room, or you participated, or you watched it happen and didn't say anything, or you helped cover it up, in my view, you have a problem." Tony says that he is planning on aggressively pursuing legal action against certain celebrities and that names will come out in due course. He has reportedly already sent out letters of demand to VIPs who are accused of being involved in assaults that occurred at the rapper's parties. He told the outlet, quote, "We collect our data, collect our evidence, do our due diligence, spend time with the victim, and then because it's in the best interest of the victim, we attempt to resolve these matters without the filing of a public lawsuit, and we have done that already." Tony is representing 120 victims and states that he has fielded thousands of calls from people claiming to be victims of an assault by Diddy.
Sean Diddy Combs, also known as P. Diddy, just had over 120 lawsuits filed against him. That's right, man. Over 120 different people are filing lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. This is all starting after this attorney right here filed all of these lawsuits. He's an attorney from Texas, and he is the one representing all of these people. He actually held a press conference earlier today where he actually revealed a bunch of critical information. This includes that he's had over 3,285 individuals calling and saying that they've been personally victimized by P. Diddy. And like I said, he is currently representing 120 victims in this situation. And these are crimes that P. Diddy allegedly committed within the last 20 years. The Texas attorney also revealed that several of the victims were underage when the incidents took place, with the attorney claiming that the youngest victim was only 9 years old.
More accusers have come forward against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs with sexual misconduct allegations. Today, Houston attorney Tony Busby announced he plans to file at least 120 individual lawsuits. Busby's law firm and the Ava Law Group vetted claims and are now representing 60 men and 60 women, including 25 who say they were minors at the time of the alleged misconduct, spanning over 3 decades. Most of the acts allegedly happened in New York, California, Florida, with a few of the plaintiffs from here in Texas.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. The names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
An attorney for Combs issued a statement saying Mr. Combs, quote, denies as false any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors, and that he looks forward to proving his innocence. Combs is currently awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges.
The magnitude of allegations against P. Diddy just grew tenfold, as more than 100 survivors are now coming forward with even more accusations against the disgraced musician. And for the first time, we're hearing from Tony Busby, the attorney bringing these 120 new lawsuits against Diddy in a one-on-one interview. He says these suits will bring brand new shocking revelations, including Diddy's alleged sexual assault of a 9-year-old child, and on a separate occasion, the assault of a pregnant woman. But that's not all. The lawsuits will apparently divulge some high-profile celebrity names that will shock us. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News. The hits just keep on coming against 54-year-old Sean Diddy Combs, whose fall from grace has now reached new levels. Just last week, we were reporting on the 12 civil suits filed against Diddy, and now 120 more suits are set to be filed against him in the next 30 days. All of this comes as Diddy himself is behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, having been denied bail twice. Diddy's in jail now awaiting trial on the federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. This after a federal grand jury indicted him nearly a year after we first heard rumblings about Diddy's alleged illegal activity. We really have to credit Cassandra Ventura, also known as the singer Cassie, for getting the ball rolling in the case against Diddy. She began working in the music industry with Diddy when she was just 19 years old, and she says almost right away, Diddy began asserting control over her. The pair dated for years, and Cassie says during this time, Diddy was emotionally, physically, and sexually abusive. Cassie's lawsuit was where we first heard the term freak off. She says it started when Mr. Combs hired a man and brought the man to his home in Los Angeles. The man, Mr. Combs, and Miss Ventura wore masquerade masks and ingested drugs. Mr. Combs directed Miss Ventura to perform sexual acts with this man while Mr. Combs watched them. He masturbated while directing Miss Ventura and the man to do specific sexual acts. Mr. Combs began to call the arrangement a freak-off or FO. He would repeatedly tell Miss Ventura at random moments that he wanted an FO, and Miss Ventura was eventually expected to facilitate the location and the hiring of male sex workers. This is all laid out in Cassie's lawsuit that was filed last November. It was settled just one day after it was filed, but the damage was done. Multiple other survivors came forward over the next several months, all accusing Diddy of sexual assault. And the pattern laid out in these lawsuits was eerily similar. Diddy would drug or force these victims to consume alcohol that was oftentimes laced. After that, he would sexually assault them, sometimes as part of these freak-offs. On multiple occasions, Diddy would apparently record these sessions and then use them as blackmail to keep the victims quiet. It's ironic then that these same recordings are now masturbated during and often electronically recorded. Federal court documents reference just one survivor in the case, labeled as Victim 1. We can't 100% confirm who that is, but an educated guess is that it's Cassie. We also can't confirm that Cassie testified in front of a grand jury that indicted Diddy, but we can confirm she was speaking with the feds before his arrest. And now it's possible that even more survivors will be speaking with the feds, and the amount of cases they're bringing forward is overwhelming. On Tuesday, Houston-based attorney Tony Busby announced 120 new civil lawsuits against P. Diddy that are expected to be filed over the next 30 days. Busby explained 60 of the survivors are women and the other 60 men. Of them, 25 alleged they were sexually assaulted as minors. More than half of these survivors already spoke out about the abuse, reporting it to the police or to hospitals. But now they're telling their stories to the world in the way of 120 separate civil lawsuits. As Busby explained, this is not a class action lawsuit, but rather each survivor will file suit against Diddy separately in the state where the incident occurred. And Busby said these assaults took place in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. They date as far back as 1991. He says these lawsuits will describe multiple new allegations, including violent sexual